Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us online as well. So we're about to start. So can everybody see my screen as well? So clearly for like in-person participants, you can see my screen here. So today we are going to speak about the academic appeal policy. I hope you get valuable takeaways from this policy. So whenever you are in the situation, you need to appeal for your grades, you will know the procedures and the steps and be able to help yourself out of this kind of situations. So let's get started. So people from online, can you maybe uh, give me a reaction to show that you can see my screen? Okay, perfect. Thank you. So we'll get started. So before, I would like to give a land acknowledgement. So Student Association of George Brown College is located on the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation and other indigenous people who have lived here for over time. We are fortunate to have the opportunity to learn, work, grow, and live in the community, sharing the responsibilities to honor and protect this land as treaty people and to live peacefully with each other. So for today's agenda, we are going to give you an introduction about the academic appeal policy. For those who join us in person, you can find a copy of the policy itself on your desk. So we're going to briefly introduce the definition of the academic appeal and general principles of the academic appeal policy, the rights and responsibilities that students have in this policy. So for the issues and grounds that can be appealed for, academic issues may be appealed. There are four types of academic issues that can be appealed for, and there are five grounds that students can appeal for their academic decisions basing on. And once it's determined that you're eligible for initiating an academic appeal procedure, you need to be mindful about timeline, the stages, and later on we'll be speaking shortly about the committee and moderators that's involved in this academic appeal policy. So first of all, like what is academic appeal policy? It is defined as the process by which a student may challenge and uh, may challenge an academic decision they receive. Sorry, there's a typo there. So the general principles stands for fairness. Students all have the right to know their rights and responsibilities, and there are certain efforts expected. So, we'll be speaking about rights and responsibilities as well. Okay, so give you an expansion on the general principles that we mentioned earlier. So when we speak about fairness, the right to know, and efforts expected, what are we speaking about exactly? So the fairness is George Brown College is responsible for maintaining standards that promote academic integrity and student success. It is expected that the faculty member will make the academic judgments that are consistent and fair, and that students' academic records will reflect their demonstrated ability and accomplishment. And we have students have the right to know. Please take a seat. Students have the right to know. So all students are entitled to know their rights under the academic appeal policy. It is expected that the faculty member and chair will inform students of their rights to academic appeal and enable students to access academic appeal process. So that means your faculty cannot hinder you from initiating an academic appeal. Sometimes I got a question from students like, will my professor hate me if I do this? I mean, the answer is possibly yes. I mean, people are people and they have emotions, but it will be really unprofessional for them to hold any grudges against you if you decide to initiate an academic appeal to just protect your student rights, right? And for the efforts expected part, it is expected that students, faculty members, and chair will work to resolve academic issues at the program level in a timely fashion, beginning with individuals who awarded the grade or made the academic decision. Documentation of such interaction is encouraged. These efforts should occur within an environment of integrity, partnership, fairness, respect, and transparency. Um, Moving on, the rights and responsibilities that's coming within the policy. So a support person, first of all, a support person is always allowed during the entire process of the academic appeal. Meaning that you can either bring your own support person if you have a family or a friend who understand the procedure and is willing to support you through the process, that is okay. Otherwise, you can also request a students association advisor. Always feel free to reach out to us as Student Association Academic Support Program. We can appoint a support person for you. So people may ask, what happens if I'm in process of making an academic appeal? Like, what happens for my next semester's registration? So for regular courses, you can apply. You can still register for courses. However, if it's like a subsequent field placement, however, like this cannot be registered unless you are unless you get a final decision on your academic appeal. So what happens if an appeal is denied? There is this policy about withdrawal and refund. So students can require to withdraw from an unqualified course or program, like that follows the previous line. Like after you successfully register for a course for the next semester, however, later on you found that you're no longer eligible for it, yes, you can require a withdrawal from the unqualified course or program. Or depends on the situation, you can possibly also get a refund of tuition for the affected course or semester. And another right and policy part, responsibility part points out that you should do your academic appeal once at a time. That means you cannot be appealing for two academic decisions at the same time. I mean, you can appeal for two academic decisions, but these has to be separate, like initiated as two separated appeals. So earlier we spoke about that we have 5 academic appeal grounds that so we'll speak about the issues and grounds. Earlier we were saying that there are 4 kind of academic decisions they can be appealed for, and also 5 grounds that we can appeal basing on. So basically that is to answer the question, in what occasions should I make an academic appeal? This is probably like why you're coming here as well. This answers a really important question for you. So in general, 4 types of academic decisions. It could be a final grade in a course, and it could be a grade within a course that could not be reassessed or that was denied reassessment. In our previous workshops, we spoke about the assessment of learning policy. So there are certain, like when you are having different opinions about your academic decision, like you can ask your professor for a reassessment. It is likely that it's not granted, or if it's like cannot be reassessed, like for example, if it were an oral presentation, if it were a performance for like the theater school, and if it were a practical exam for the health science center, if it were a placement, like this kind of situations cannot be recreated. So that is why you cannot do the assessment again. So in this kind of situations, you can appeal for it because like there's no way that you can redo it. Or a probationary or withdrawal decision. This kind of formal academic decisions usually coming from the college. So just like in worst case scenario, let's just say, for example, very unfortunately, you were in a situation where you got one of these decisions. At the end of the email that's been sent to you formally from George Brown College, they will be listing your student's right. As a student, like you can appeal for a decision if you disagree with it, or if you have additional documents need to be provided basing on the 5 grounds that we're going to speak about later. Appeal decision can also be appealed for. This is something that not everybody know of. So what does PLAR stands for? It is prior learning and assessment recognition. There are also other kind of academic issues that people have concerns about, but not sure if they can appeal for it. I would say the answer is no, but there are still solutions for them. So, for example, if this is a discrimination or harassment within the classroom setting, you can reach out to the Office of Anti-Racism, Advocacy, and Human Rights Services. So there, a case worker will be helping you with your case, establish a case with the complaint that you made, and work on it. So they have their offices all over the campus and can find their more detailed information about them on their website. They're short for OARS. It's like OAREHRS. Have you seen it anywhere in the college? Yes, to know. I can attach the information in a later communication email for online participants as well. And if your concern is about quality of the educational experience, you can initiate an educational complaint. Like you can refer to the educational complaint resolution policy and place a formal complaint on the professor or faculty or staff member that you have complaints against. And for academic code of conduct, you can refer to the academic code of conduct policy for more details. So these are the situations that are not applicable for the academic appeal policy, but can also be addressed based on other policies. And earlier we spoke about grounds for academic appeals. So once you decide to initiate an academic appeal, you need to pick one of these 5 grounds. So your appeal request cannot be coming from nowhere. It has to be based on one of these grounds. And like these 5 grounds pretty much covers everything. If your situation falls outside of the this 5 frames, that probably like maybe means like you're not eligible for an appeal in this kind of situation, or if your situation is like really peculiar, like you don't know what to do, then you can reach out to the academic. Sorry, you can reach out to us for help. Like we can look into this in more details. So the 5 grounds are namely their merit of work, illness or disability, compassionate grounds, course management, policy violation. So later on, I will be speaking on these 5 grounds. What are they? And if you're appealing based on these grounds, what kind of documentation you need to prepare for? So merit of work is an academic decision that does not accurately reflect the student's demonstrated ability, action, or achievement. This happens very common as students come to us saying that I think I did great with this assignment. However, my professor is giving me like 45%. What happens? So you can appeal basing on this ground, and you can ask your professor to reevaluate the same work that you submitted earlier. If your professor, yes, question?
The students, the teachers, every student has a different perspective on the assessment or summary of the information provided. So read a word definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for adding the point. So this happens very common, as I said earlier. And the required documentation for fulfilling this appeal is one is a specific and detailed reason in writing as to why the academic decision does not reflect the student's demonstrated ability, action, or achievement, or any documentary evidence from the course note, textbook, assignment rubrics, placement supervision records, emails, evaluations, or any other relevant course materials. There's no like very specific frame. Basically it says like any documentary evidence. And the next would be illness or disability. The definition is an illness or disability that significantly affects the student's academic performance. Disability may include medical, mental health, physical, and other as defined by the Ontario Human Rights Code. So it happens that during a semester, students fall sick, so they have to go to a hospital very frequently. That could be stopping them from attending the college full-time. In that case, students can apply for accessible learning services and then transform their program to a part-time program, but that should be also equivalent to full-time study because they are on accommodation. However, the thing is that for many international students, they are facing the kind of situation that if they are not studying full-time, they will be having issues with their visa status. In this kind of situations, it's like not exactly covered by the accessible learning services office. So this is the kind of situation like if happens to anyone, please reach out to us and we can establish a case with you and work on this for you like one-on-one. In this kind of situation, provide a medical form or equivalent documentation completed by a registered health professional. So in the academic appeal policy file in front of you, you can turn to the appendix 5 where you can find a medical form. So this is the medical form that students will be filling out if they need to appeal on the on the illness or disability grounds. And documentation will be viewed in confidence only by the academic appeal committee moderator. So this also means like later on I will be explaining details about the steps and stages of academic appeal. Unless it is escalated to the academic appeal committee moderator, you would not need to present this to your faculty member or program chair. And compassionate. So due to some unforeseen events or circumstances that may have serious impacts to students' academic performance, including the ability to complete course requirements and meet deadlines, this may include the death of a family member, a legal issue, or other life circumstances. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, like any of the life circumstances, like for example, like sometimes students are being evicted from their housing, like their apartments. So this can be a kind of situation that's affecting their ability to attend school full time. Maybe they missed an assignments, maybe they did really bad in an exam, situations like that. There are many examples. So for the required documentation, it really depends on the exact situation. On different kind of situation, like as long as the documents is good to prove the status that you are experiencing, it will be good for a supporting document. And for course management as well. So what is course management? In the definition, it says a significant departure from the course outline provided at the outside of the semester, which has negatively affected the student's academic performance. This may include a failure to return graded work in a timely manner during the semester. Required documentation is course outline, course management, specific and detailed reasons in writing as to where the deviation occurs and how this deviation affected academic performance. Sometimes as a student, you experience the kind of faculty member who just speak about their like personal experience, and which is totally irrelevant from the course content itself. I'm not sure if you have experienced this as a professor. I mean, as a student, I'm not sure if you experienced this.
Definitely, yeah.
Yes.
Difficult. They're like right now you're the only one talking, I'm trying to make it a group meeting rather than the meeting. It's just help out, get feedback, and just try to build the concepts to understand academic appeals better.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, sometimes teachers get off topic. Oh, they're trying to remember the course content and teach us, and then life situations. So
They start talking about their cats.
yeah.
That happens frequently.
Yeah. So like if that is affecting your academic performance, this is something that you can appeal for basing on. Or for example, in situations like your professor did not return your graded work on time, and you need to work with the feedback to make adjustments to your final project. And if you didn't start the feedback on time, you don't know how to make adjustment to your final projects, and that is leading to a failure of your final project, right? In this kind of situations, you can appeal basing on the course management round. And sometimes, okay, so I want to turn back to this a little bit. Sometimes students confuse this with an educational complaint against their professor. So if you wish to raise an official, complaint against a professor, yes, you can still do that. But sometimes this can be resolved within the academic appeal policy. And policy violation. So what is policy violation? It's an academic grade or decision that the student believes is invalid because the decision maker fails to follow divisions or college rule, policies, procedures, or established practice. So required documentation for appeal reference the policy, procedure, or established practice and the alleged error, explaining how this can affect academic performance. So this could be any of the college policies within the George Brown College. So let's say, for example, if the students are failing a grade due to the professor is not complying with the faculty code of conduct, this is the kind of situations that students can appeal for basing on policy violation.
So
Mhm.
for the course management, it
Yes.
has an outline and specific percentages allotted to specific assignments and tests.
Mhm.
And in mid of the semester, they change, which affects, like if they have given 20% or
I see.
25% for the last final test, but mid of the semester they change it.
I
and
see.
The percentage goes down for the test and the assignment. We have previously done those up,
Mhm.
which will affect our grading.
Is this like happening to you?
Yeah, previously.
Okay, so there is another policy called the course outline policy. So it states that the professors are obligated to provide you with your course outline at the beginning of your course.
And they cannot change it.
Yeah, they cannot change it. unless they provide like very specific reason why they have to do it. Like, did they provide you a solid reason why they need to do it?
No, so there were three options that we gave it, and he just asked us to vote. And whichever had the highest vote, he went in for that. The course outline wasn't that actually.
So I think this is a violation of the course online policy within the college. So this is the kind of situation where we can present the reference for the course online policy procedures and point out that what the professor is doing is not adhering to the other policy, the course online policy, and such this will be deemed as a policy violation. And yes, you can appeal for it. Okay, so any questions from our online participants as well, before we move on to another topic? No? Okay, I'll be moving on to the next page. So now, after understanding what kind of situations can be appealed for, we are looking at the appeal procedure right now. So this is to answer a question about how to make an academic appeal. There are two things very important. So first of all, there are certain timelines to follow. All students, also faculty members and chairs, are expected to adhere to the timeline outlined in the policy. And there are two stages of academic appeal policy. So a student must exhaust out the stage 1 academic appeal procedure before they can initiate a stage 2 academic appeal. So stage 1 is between you and your center. Like, for example, if you're from business center, health science center, stage 2 means that you're exhausting out all the efforts that you can use within your center, and now you're escalating this to the college academic appeal moderator. So for the timeline part, all students, including faculty member and chairs, are expected to adhere to the timeline. So what that means, as a student, you need to adhere to the policy. You need to adhere to the timeline. If you don't, you automatically fail the appeal. As a faculty, if your faculty is not responding to you with in a timely manner, or if your chair is ignoring your email, then you have the chance to escalate this to the next step without, like, that means if they fails to respond to you on time, that means you have won this round of the appeal, and then you get a chance to move on to the next stage. Okay. If the faculty failed to adhere, that means that your appeal will be granted. If the students fail to adhere, that means the appeal deemed to have lapsed, except for the situations that the deadline is subject to change, or there are extra supporting documents required. That is all to say, timeline really matters. I will be looking into more details about the timeline in the next slides. So earlier we mentioned that there are two stages of the academic appeal. Stage 1 will be resolution within the faculty, and stage 2 is initiating a formal academic appeal procedure. So there's a very important note on the side as well. So all email communications need to be made through your GBC email. That means you cannot communicate with regarding an academic appeal matter on your personal email, because all these communication information need to be properly documented. So in the stage 1 of the academic appeal, the first step is to reach out to your faculty within 10 business days after you receive the grade. So the students contact the faculty member to arrange a meeting to discuss their academic issue. When reaching out to your professor, please be very clear about I would like to initiate an academic appeal. Make sure you mention the word academic appeal instead of just saying we need to talk about this grade. If you're just saying we need to talk about this grade, your professor will not think it as an academic appeal at all. And when you finally decided to initiate an academic appeal, you would probably need to schedule another meeting with them. So the next step will be your professor to respond to you within 5 business days of the student's request of the faculty member. This is a timeline, we were speaking about earlier. If your professor do not respond to your email, your appeal will be automatically granted. The faculty member respond to the student's inquiry and set up a meeting. Sometimes students tell me that your professor say, no, your appeal is not granted just through email. That is not an action through the procedure. Like that is not okay. Like they need a meeting to say, okay, I deny your appeal. If the faculty member does not respond to the inquiry within the time frame or is unavailable to meet with the student during the time frame, the students can proceed to stage 1, step 4. I will speak about that step 4 later on. So in the situation where the professor is responding to the students in a timely manner, within 10 business days of the student's request to the faculty member needs to set up a meeting and discuss the issue with the student. If a resolution, there are like 2 possible outcomes, right? If a resolution is reached, the academic decision is modified if applicable. If resolution is not reached and the student remains dissatisfied with the academic decision, then the student proceeds to stage 1, step 4. In step 4, within 5 business days of meeting with the faculty member, the student contacts the chair to arrange a meeting to discuss the issue. You may ask, what is the chair? So usually the chair is your program coordinator. If you're having trouble finding who is your program coordinator, you can reach out to us as well. We'll try our best to help you find the person who is responsible for this. And within 5 business days, yes.
And about what you just mentioned, the chair is not the same program coordinator. The chair oversees the program coordinators. I mean, each program has a program coordinator, and there's someone else above who supervises and oversees all program coordinators. So the chair is different from the program coordinator. It's not the same. Just to clarify that.
Okay, thank you for making the modification. And afterwards, the chair respond to the student's inquiry and set up a meeting with the students within 5 business days of the student's request to meet with the chair. It's similar to the previous step, like they need to respond to you within proper time frame, and if they don't, the students get granted with their academic appeal. And afterwards, within 10 business days of the student's request to meet with the chair, the student and the chair meet to discuss the issue. The student must present evidence like emails or medical documentations in support of their appeal. If the student has not followed step 1 to 3 before, like they need to explain why. For example, if their professor refused to intake their academic appeal request, this could be an example. Like the student need to present evidence saying that I have tried my efforts to reach out to my professor. However, my professor refused to meet with me and just say I deny your request through an email. This is one of the examples. Sorry, that scares me a little bit. So what if my stage 1 appeal were denied by the program chair at the end? A frequently asked question. So if the resolution is not reached and the students still wish to challenge the academic decision, the chair advised the students of their rights to file a stage 2 academic appeal and has 5 business days to do so. So at a stage 2 academic appeal, this is the appeal will be proceed with the academic appeal moderator within the college. Within 5 business days after meeting with the chair, the appellant fills out an academic appeal application form, which is in the appendix in your policy as well. So this is the this is the appendix 3 in your file. So the appellants fill out the form and email the completed form along with a scanned copy of all the supporting documents to appeals moderator at georgebrown.ca with copy to your program chair. And afterwards, within 5 business days of the appellant's submission, the chair emailed the completed chair review form and scanned copies of all supporting documentations to appeal moderator at georgebrown.ca. So this part is where the chair responds to your appeal. So this is not an action the students need to take. And afterwards, within 10 business days of the appellant's submission, the alternate academic appeal review moderator completes the pre-hearing review with 3 potential of the outcomes. So it could be either the hearing is granted, then we'll proceed to stage 2, step 4, and then academic appeal hearing will be taking place. Or if a hearing is denied, the review moderator will draft a letter to explain why the decision is made and send it to the Office of Academic Excellence, the appellant, the respondent, and the chair. So this also marks an end of the academic appeal process, means the hearing is denied and the your appeal is denied as well. Or it could also be inconclusive. So that means the moderator determines that more information, investigation, discussion, alternative resolution, or redirection is required. This issue will be referred back to the division, that means your center, or to the appropriate college departments if the situation involves other departments as well. So step 4, within 5 business days of the review moderator email to the Office of Academic Excellence, if if an academic appeal hearing has been granted, the Office of Academic Excellence schedules the hearing and notify all participants in writing of the hearing date, time, and location. The hearing will be scheduled on a timely basis. If a hearing has been denied, the Office of Academic Excellence send the decision letter to all parties, basically the appellant, the respondent, and the chair. So in step 5, after up to 5 business days prior to the academic appeal hearing date, the Office of Academic Excellence circulates the name of all the academic appeal hearing participants, including the appellant advisor, respondent, chair, and academic appeal committee members to all participating and attaches an electronic version of the academic appeal hearing menu for their review. And after up to 2 business days prior to the appeal hearing happens, the appellant informs the Office of Academic Excellence of any concerns over academic appeal committee members, if applicable. Similarly, academic appeal committee member inform the Office of Academic Excellence of any possible conflict of interest. So I need to let you know that it's in very rare situation that an academic appeal hearing actually happens. Usually this kind of your academic appeal request can be resolved within the first stage. It's not necessarily go to stage 2 at all time, but just in case for the completion of the policy, you need to be aware about what will be happening during the entire stage 1 and stage 2 process as well. So moving on, after all this, it will be time for the academic appeal hearing. At the hearing, the hearing will be taking place following the procedures outlined in the academic appeal hearing manuals. As mentioned earlier, like this will be provided to all parties prior to the hearing happens. And then within 3 business days of the academic appeal hearing, the moderator submits the decision memo and the signed academic appeal hearing decision form to the Office of Academic Excellence. The moderator then sends the program recommendation arising from the hearing, if applicable, to the Office of the Senior Vice President of Academics. And step 9, within 5 business days of the academic appeal hearing, the Office of Academic Excellence emails a letter to the appellant, the respondent, and chair, outlining the academic appeal committee's decision. So this comes to an end for the entire process and procedure. A final decision will be made, and this will no longer be able to appeal for, like you cannot appeal for a final decision. This is the final decision. So about academic appeal committee and moderators, during an academic appeal hearing, the college will appoint at least 2 academic appeal moderators to present over the academic appeal hearing process, and will appoint an academic appeal committee to hear each individual's academic appeal. And the mandates, compositions, and responsibilities includes the mandates, compositions, and responsibilities for the moderators, academic appeal committee, and the hearing procedures will be described in the academic appeal hearing manual, which will be provided to all parties prior to the hearing happens. And about the pre-hearing review for all stage 2 academic appeals, an academic appeal review moderator will conduct a pre-hearing review before an appeal hearing is scheduled to determine whether the hearing should be granted. A different academic appeal presiding moderator will chair the hearing if granted. So the hearings are typically scheduled on the last Friday afternoon of the month. As mentioned earlier, it's not a very common situation where it happens all the time. It's in very rare situations that the situation that's escalated to stage 2. So that is why they usually only appoint 1 date to host the hearings per month. Yeah, questions?
When it comes to the final exam, winter, spring, whatever semester it is, how do you do that? Do the colleges close after the exam week, or staying open?
Yes. So in the policy that we mentioned earlier, all the timelines.
Semester?
Yes, exactly. So like in all the timelines that we mentioned earlier, it always says like 5 business days or 10 business days. That means if the college is closed, that is not counted as a business day. Yes. Okay, good question. Thank you. So this mentioned earlier as well, the decision of the academic appeal committee is a final decision and can no longer be appealed for. So here are some frequently asked questions. These are pretty much all mentioned in the presentation earlier. I'm wondering if you can, feel free to answer these questions for me. What if my professor don't read my notes? Yeah, please.
Well, one of the sections said that if they don't respond, then the appeal is granted.
Yes, exactly.
So presumably that's what would be the case, unless maybe there's a counter procedure where the professors can appeal your appeal because maybe the professor had something going on in their life.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just a joke. But yeah, your appeal is granted if they don't.
Yeah. Good answer. And sometimes students also ask like, will I be punished for my making an appeal? I don't dare to speak up with my professor. What should I do?
Okay, I don't think so. You will be getting punished, and if they are doing, if the professor is doing something of that sort, actually it is unprofessional on their part, and they can't do it according to the academic conduct policy as well. So you should, if there's a concern that you have to raise, you should raise it.
Yeah, thank you.
Also, if they punish you for doing an appeal, then you can probably just go through the procedure again and file some sort of complaint or maybe
Yeah.
one of the other policies about that behavior.
Yeah, you have a point. And last question, what if my appeal was denied? It was answered like, what if my final appeal was denied by the appeal moderator committee? Yeah, there's nothing can be done then. Yeah, so that means your appeal is denied. Okay, so any other questions that you may have if I'm not listed there? Or online participants, do you have any questions that you want to ask? Feel free to type in the chat as well.
What if something, not necessarily like mark wise, but what if the teacher did something that was a little tasteless, but that was a year ago or like, last semester? Is that like too late to make some sort of a complaint?
Yeah, it will be too late. Because according to the timeline, you need to respond to those academic decisions after, I think it's 5 business days after you receive the academic decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but I think we are addressing with regards to behavior of the professor, which was unjust. Does that also have a timeline of ending?
So that will be solely on educational complaint. That will like you can still complain on your professor, but you can no longer appeal for grades.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so if no questions, I shall move on. So the purpose of hosting this events is not just to help you explain the policy, it's actually also to encourage you to take a look into the policy yourself. So many times students have the policy in their hands and they think it's really boring, too many words. I don't have the time to read. I don't want to read. So the purpose of us hosting this kind of workshops is to help you better understand these through a more easier way. But still, does not stop you from reading it yourself. We still encourage you to take a look at this yourself whenever you're in need of these. And this is pretty much the end of the policy workshop. Thank you for joining us. Still, I would like to let you know that there are 4 ways that you can reach us whenever you need and one-on-one case management support. So we have drop-in info desk at St. James campus, like we're here, but we're also at Casaloma campus and Waterfront campus as well. We're mostly available from Monday to Thursday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. At the King's Lounge. For example, like at this campus at King's Lounge. But just in case if you don't find us there, feel free to email us at academicsupport@sagbc.ca. And just in case you are having an issue in the middle of the night, you don't want to email us or just want to send us the information, you can access to our service through a web form as well. There's a QR code here. If you scan this, if you want to try scan this, you can have access to a web form where you can insert your information. So someone will be responding to your request on the following morning. We have
Modern, that's modern.
yeah. Thank you. And we have hotlines as well. This is a phone number. It's available from 9 to 5 from Monday to Friday. I'm moving on to the next slide. So we also have a newsletter that is going out monthly. If you want, you can scan here to subscribe to the newsletter so you can know more about our upcoming activities and events, everything. No? Newsletter, no?
So the form before that was
Like a one-on-one case support request form. Let's say you're in a very particular situation where you need our support. Like it's not necessarily have to be regarding academic appeal. It could be any of the academic difficulties that you meet in your life. You can send your request to us and we'll try to help you one-on-one. Okay, so I will skip this. This is and what we also want to share with you is like on November 20th, 2024 at St. James campus, we have a contest going on. So as a participant of this workshop, you're eligible to participate in this contest as well. This contest have amazing prizes, so it is only available for students who participate in one of our workshops. So this is like your second last chance to participate in the contest. Next month we will be having a financial wellness workshop partnered with the BMO Bank, and that will be your last chance to be eligible to join the contest. So this contest will be testing students' knowledge on their college policy knowledge, and it will be similar to a trivia or the kind of Who Wants to Be a Billionaire TV show. And the prizes are amazing. So if you're available, feel free to register and participate.
You just
What
gotta
happens?
register with the correct code to be entered for that.
So this is a contest. It's like not a raffle. Okay? Yes, you need to register for it.
just a question, like, have you guys all registered for this session? Because, or because,
It's okay if they haven't. It's
It's
okay.
locked in.
Same.
Okay,
so,
I
so
registered for the- I wanted to
oh,
be in person because I had class.
I see. I saw you were in the chat earlier.
they will get the email, right? Only if we have the
Yes.
information. they'll
So,
be able to apply.
If you haven't registered, have you filled out one of these as well? No, not yet. Like this is just to collect your feedback and also your email information so we can send the slides to you later on.
It doesn't say, oh, I guess if we have our student numbers,
Yes,
then you can email
Yes.
us. Okay.
if we have your student number, we have your ID.
I'm already signed up for the newsletter.
Okay, cool. Good to know that. Yeah, so that's me. I feel embarrassed about it. Anyway, so thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, you have our email address and feel free to reach out to us anytime. Thank you so much for your participation today. And thank you for everybody who is joining us from online as well. Thank you. Have a great
Thank you,
evening.
Jimmy. You as well. Bye-bye.